Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Scott K. Honestly, we've seen so many different changes and innovations and evolution in the mechanical keyboarding hobby in like the past couple of years. That trend continues to this day. More and more stuff is coming out from like all corners of the mechanical keyboard universe, and some of them are even stranger than others. Like this one. This is the DK65 by MIKIT. MIKIT is a new contender in the mech space. They aim to provide fun and interesting designs, a nice out-of-the-box typing experience, and a more affordable package. The DK65 is a prime example of that. Geared towards newcomers of the mechanical keyboard space, it does a pretty good job of enticing beginners into the rabbit hole with its LA Lakers themed colors, knobs, and sliders. Looks are interesting, but is it worth your consideration? I wanted to do a quick review on the DK65 and my first MIKIT board to see what they're all about. So let's get started. Like right off the bat, you can tell that MIKIT isn't like a oh so serious kind of keyboard company. I mean, look at the box. Very bright, playful, and puts things in a manner where it's like very easy to approach for beginners. Then you get into like the keyboard itself. Well, first of all, it's a pre-built keyboard, so it comes fully functioning out of the box. No need to do anything. As soon as you take this out of the box, you're hit with like this crazy purple and yellow LA Lakers themed keyboard. Honestly, it's not a bad look unless like you're a Celtics fan. As you start to get into the details of the keyboard, you're like, WTF is this? On top of the regular keys, you have a knob. Well, knobs are pretty a common thing these days, right? It usually controls the volume. Then you look down a little bit and there's like this thing, a slider? What does this do? Well, for the DK65, it controls one thing and one thing only, lighting. So the DK65 comes with a built-in per key RGB lighting. You can change the colors, the RGB style, and more. Then you can use the slider to control the brightness of this light. I mean, if you're like into micro adjusting the RGB brightness, then this is the keyboard for you. For more experienced users, I wish the DK65 was able to program the slider for like different functions as well. Maybe one day? That's some homework for you guys, MIKIT. But at the same time, given that this is a keyboard geared towards like newcomers, it'll be a good parlor trick to impress your membrane using friends. Now, for a price tag of around $109, the DK65 actually packs a lot of features. For example, this is a wireless capable keyboard with both Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz wireless connections. It also features this flippy feet below, which allows for 2 different height settings to help you find the perfect angle that you need. But before we go into the details of this board, let's go to a quick message from our sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is an online service that helps you print PCBs, do 3D printing, or even CNC machining. If you're an aspiring keyboard designer or whatever else designer, you can take your design and simply upload it to get something made quick. Or, if you have the source code for a PCB that you already have and you need a replacement, you can also get that done as well. They can handle all types of PCBs from your simple single-layer designs to multi-layer stacks. Beyond PCBs, if you want to try making your own case, PCBWay can machine that as well. Now, a very exciting new service that PCBWay offers, OEM. Instead of just making a single component, you can actually task PCBWay to be an OEM manufacturer and make the whole thing. They can do anything from PCBs to CNC cases to even assembly. And using global manufacturing, they can offer very competitive prices. Is there a keyboard on the horizon? Well, check out OEM at PCBWay. The overall construction of the keyboard is ABS plastic, so you won't find like the heft from like a typical aluminum keyboard. But for the price point, it makes sense, right? The purple and yellow theme is pretty prevalent all throughout, with it being featured pretty much at every angle imaginable. Overall, the keyboard itself is pretty thin and not too tall, so you could kind of use it without a wrist rest, so that's up to you as well. Now, let's start breaking this down to see the components a little bit better, shall we? The keycaps are pretty nice quality, honestly. They are made of double shot PBT in cherry profile and has nice legends and overall feel as well. Pretty nice at this price point, honestly. Some keycap, like the sets cost more than this keyboard. As you can start to get deeper in, you can see the TTC brown switches that this came with this board. They're very similar to the Gataround or Cherry Browns from an overall tactility standpoint. I'm pretty sure you know what that feels like now. With the switches removed, you can see that the PCB is actually south-facing LED, which will allow for compatibility with any switch and cherry profile keycaps, so nice touch. So even for a pre-made keyboard, that's pretty good, right? You can also see the individual RGBs per key here as well. The DK65 uses standard KO style hot swap sockets for easy swapping out of various different switches, so you could try that. Perfect for a beginner. One thing I did notice is that the DK65 comes stock with cherry plate mounted stabilizers. However, I did have a chance to look, and the keyboard is also able to support PCB mounted screw-ins as well. So a nice little surprise to upgrade this in the future with something even better as you decide whether the mechanical keyboard hobby is for you or not. So MIKIT claims that the DK65 is a gasket mounted keyboard. However, when I did the quick flex test, I didn't really notice much flex at all. And you can probably see why by looking at this diagram. The keyboard is indeed gasket mounted, but it uses these tiny little silicone sleeves and they're compressed into the case. Given how thin the case is, there really isn't much space for the plate and PCB to flex. So it's providing the isolation, but you won't really get that bouncy typing feel if that is what you're looking for. Also, you can see here that the DK65 also features plate as well as the case foam below, which also does impede some of the flex as well. So all in all, if you're looking for an ultra flexible keyboard, the DK65 probably won't be that for you. So now we know what this keyboard is all about. So what about the sound of the keyboard? Well, let's check it out. So the thing I realized is that most pre-built keyboards these days actually sound pretty good out of the box. Keyboards from like iQnix, some of the Keyrons, and now MIKIT all provide a solid typing and sound and performance without much modifications needed at all. I think it's because of the fact that these pre-built, they come fully loaded with foam and all the modifiers already, so it's like perfectly catered towards newcomers. I mean, at a price point that is like slightly above $100, fully built, it's a good time to start out as a keyboard enthusiast, unlike some years ago where like everything was expensive and you can't even find it anyways, right? So given all of this, what is my thought? Well, when someone told me that there is another player that just joined the crowded mechanical keyboard pre-built space, I was like, again? MIKIT? What the heck is that? Then I saw all the crazy designs and the color schemes, and I was a bit skeptical honestly, but after taking a look at the board, my opinion is this. The space is growing, and as the space actually grows more, there's more and more niche segmentation that will also be created. I think MIKIT is actually targeting one of those spaces. Instead of like some of the other manufacturers that are taking more traditional designs and making small incremental improvements, MIKIT just decided to go ham on the design and just make a more trendy keyboard, right? A more trendy approach to keyboards. I think they'll do a good job of capturing new and younger users of mechanical keyboards. Not an enthusiast level keyboard by any stretch of the imagination, but overall, the MIKIT DK65 does a good job of delivering the important aspects of what a mechanical keyboard should do. It delivers a pretty refined typing experience out of the box without breaking the bank too much. It comes with enough features and customization to allow for the beginner to kind of like get their feet wet and decide whether this hobby is for them or not, or whether they want to spend $500–600 on a group buy keyboard. I know that there are a lot of different pre-built options out there that are pretty nice, but overall, I believe the MIKIT keyboards do offer probably the most interesting look out there, right? Compared to like a Keychron. So given this, I would say if it looks good to you, get it. If not, then I'm sure you can find one that suits your taste as well. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and I'll have more content for you in the future. Thanks.